Call your sponsor.
Call you sponsor.
Call you sponsor.
Bitch, call your sponsor.
Call your
Okay, welcome back to Bitch Call Your Sponsor. My name is Misty.
And I'm Sam.
Hello, Sam.
Hi, Misty.
Okay, let's do our primary purpose. Our primary
purpose
is for
is
Misty
for
and
Misty and Sam
to
grow their friendship
and
and maybe
help others.
Just maybe.
Maybe, we'll see. Well, today I am making it about me. I know, it's very shocking. But my topic is to know me is to love me. And what I'm experiencing is this hack that I've discovered in recovery and life, which is the work that I'm doing in ACA. Is this like an ACA podcast or what? Is the internal work I'm doing of learning to have a relationship and develop a trust, safety, and love within myself and a connection to my higher power with that, because, you know, it talks about the 11th step. It's when we align our will, our thinking with God's will, that we begin to use it rightly. So the more internal work I'm doing in developing this relationship and loving all parts of myself, kind of like the IFS, internal family systems, the more I am able to give zero fucks what anyone thinks about me, what the outcomes are, what I just, my reliance upon people, places, and things has declined so dramatically that I feel like I've tapped into some special hack of life and I want to share it.
This is so beautiful. So what I hear you saying is that you're doing deeper work and you're getting amazing results.
Yeah.
And what is, I love this zero fucks thing, but it's not coming from a place of having zero fucks, you know, which is like that book, you know, where it's like, oh, you know, you only have so many fucks, so choose wisely or whatever. It's coming from this more authentic place, which I know for me thus far, my experience has been, I become more real when I continue to apply and practice these things in my life. And by real, I mean, I become more honest with what's actually there and not there. And I become more accepting and allowing of things as they are. I've spent a lifetime trying to get things to be a certain way or feel a certain way, versus just allowing and being like, yep, this is all that's there and this is all that's not there. It's like true authenticity.
Yeah, it makes me want to cry because I'm really understanding that this is what has been holding me back, and that the more that I'm doing this, like self-love and care and nice self-talk and all of this stuff, the more I'm going out in the world and I'm treating other people as if I love them too, or that they love me, you know, and it's so obvious to me that when I was in so much, I don't know if it was self-loathing, it was low self-worth, that I put that on everybody else. I couldn't see them as they were and how they were really treating me, because the low self-worth found a place where I could see an eye movement and go, oh, yeah, they don't think highly of me. And grab onto that narrative, grab onto that story.
That is so beautiful. This has come up in many conversations I've had this week, for the ones that I've actually kept, because I cleared my calendar for however many, at least 2 days, because I was in bed. But it's this reconnection to authentic self where as a kid, right, adult child, right, as a child, I was looking outside myself as a child does, right? For food, shelter, protection. And what was passed on were these dysfunctional ways of living and being. And then I've continued looking outside myself because there was no redirection back in. There was no security in any way. It was always a mixed bag of, oh God, what's happening now? And then me either blaming myself or thinking I did something wrong, or, and that whole thing. And that pattern runs really deep. That started from childhood, and then here I am, an adult child, thinking I'm quote unquote successful at whatever those things are, but I'm still using all those tools and I'm still disconnected to myself. I'm thinking it's over there, if that man, or, if that job, or maybe this purse, or, maybe that jewel. And then, someone's, because what's happened with me, and I so identify with this, is I've had the stuff, and the accoutrements and the things, and when I get this, and it's chasing the horizon, and then but what about that, and then there's that, and then, but what, and then chasing that it's my job, and then realizing that all that stuff is literally imprisoning and covers up me. I love this title. To know me is to love me. What was me? I became the stuff. And then people would comment on my stuff and not be connected to me. So all of this stuff was getting me even further disconnected from myself, and further disconnected to anyone that was near me.
Right. Oh my God. I love that analogy. That's exactly it. We're looking outside of ourselves to heal the inside of ourselves. And not only did I learn that as a child, that if I got rewarded for abandoning myself to take care of somebody else's needs, that's what I learned, how you survive in this world. Abandon my needs to make sure I put their needs first. And or scream really loudly what my needs are. And make sure that somebody fulfills it. And if they don't, it's their fault, not mine. Right? One of two ways. And, to know me is to love me, is that I've always admired these people who were comfortable in their skin, even when somebody else disagreed with them. And it's I see people be so concerned, and obviously I am too, but this is just the place I'm in right now, where I can see that it's my internal healing that needs to change. That it's not that other people's perception of me needs to change. It's that when I love myself, I don't care what your perception is.
I mean, I always keep going back to the Bill and Abby. His roots grasped new soil. He was inwardly reorganized, right? That's the journey for me, 12-step, in particular ACA, where that journey is really focused, and it's less because we've even talked about the Al-Anon, where it's the Al-Anon is focused on the alcoholic, and not, there's no redirection to self. It's there's encouragement, find your hobbies, detach with love, but it's the central point is around a person versus an addict, which is around a substance. But the ACA is getting me closer to my core, which is where, I was given love, but that love, as defined, the type of love that I got was very different than the type of love you got. And then I'm just in a repetitive pattern to try to get recognized and seen and heard and all these things, and finding ways that aren't necessarily healthy. Workaholism was a great one for me, to get that. Oh, what a great work ethic. It's I was killing myself.
Yeah, and recovery can be one of those too, right? I was just in a meeting where this person who has under 6 months is talking about that they took a day and just laid on the couch and did
Mm.
TV and like didn't do anything. And I'm thinking, that's wonderful in my head, you know, like good for
Yeah.
them for taking that day and loving themselves. And they're on the meeting, like feeling so bad about it, right? And then a person who I know to be their sponsor is like, yeah, and we have to take action. We have to take action. You know, nothing
Yeah.
happens unless I take action. And I'm like, no, like that is the God that I'm understanding and the love of myself that I'm understanding is literally like, you don't have to do anything, babe. You don't do anything
Yeah.
to earn love. It's an old message. It's that Al-Anon message of like, abandon yourself as a child and take care of the alcoholic that makes you think you have to do action to be loved. You have to do
Mm.
action to get the goodie bag. And I just was so like chomping at the bit to be like, no, you don't have to do action. Like taking a day for the couch and being now 40 days on your couch. No, that's not good. It's too much. It's equanimity, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
But loving yourself while you take that day on the couch and giving the finger to the sponsor that says you have to take action.
Yep. Yep. It's interesting because when I think Al-Anon, and no shade really, I don't really have that much experience. I love the Courage to Change book. I just don't really align with the other stuff there, but it's, you know, this boundary and this and it could be very robotic, you know. Whereas it's really, there's a fluidity that I find in ACA where it's like, well, where am I today? You know, and like today, if I heard that person online, I would want to slap them, you know, not the one that was sitting down for, you know, 24 hours that took a load off or whatever. It's just like the other person would be like, no, and slap. No, you know, maybe even insert a little crosstalk, you know, just be naughty. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's to know me is to love me, right? And I think for me, that's the journey in the process is actually getting to know who I am, you know, what is the actor that I've been providing and projecting to people versus what is the person underneath. With all my nooks and crannies. And I think first and foremost, that came out in sponsorship, you know, having calls and then me saying certain reality things, you know, where it's like, yeah, I'm living in my parents' basement or, you know, whatever those things are, you know, where I was so private about things, you know, because I was so worried about what everyone was going to think about me because I was worried about this projection, you know, and saving that image, you know, the stage presence, you know, versus the real thing. And my first sponsor always used to say, you know, we are going to match your insides to your outsides. And, you know, it's as with everything in 12-step, it's experiential for me. You know, I could talk about things till I'm blue in the face, but I need to actually have an experience with it. So yeah, this is so beautiful, is to love me.
I'm glad you pointed out the beginning part of it. Yeah, because to know me is important. That's an important part of the process. If I'm just like, I love myself. And believe me, I tried that for years. And that was kind of that people are like, how are you doing? I'm like, I'm fabulous. You know, like it was another mask of toxic positivity.
Yes.
Where it's like, I don't feel anything negative. I'm always happy. I'm positive, you know? And that is not the knowing of me. That is not accepting me like it talks about in the big book, the good and the bad. That is not knowing all the parts and acknowledging them. Because the truth is, like, my character interestings have value. And they're not something to be ashamed of. And I don't need to be like everybody else. That's another trigger of mine, is like when people want everybody to be good and behave. No, I bring a certain characteristic that I want to be okay with, and it's not going to look like everyone else's. And that's their problem if they have a problem with it, you know? And I like going, I've always enjoyed going to like thrift stores and just going through to see if I can find something. Like it's a dopamine hit when I'm like, oh my God, I just found like, you know, Christian Louboutins for $12 and they didn't know what they had, or something like that. So I was going for a dopamine hit for a long time. But what I realize now, and I've been doing this for a decade, it just relaxes me. It's like going to a bar after work for me. And so, but I like going through and noticing what I like. I like knowing what colors appeal to me, what materials appeal to me. Like it's really interesting to see, oh, that's something I jump for joy. I feel joy at, you know, like Marie Kondo, like that sparks joy. And then I get, whether I buy it or not, I get a better sense of who I am and what I like. And I'll do it with Pinterest boards or, you know, going to the art museum. It's just really fun now to go, I don't know, everyone else may like this one painting, but I like this one over here.
That's really, really beautiful and important. It's, you know, it kind of rounds out, you know, a few of our episodes in the sense of like today, we used to talk about you and I, I'm having the best love affair with myself. I'm enjoying dating myself, you know, like all of these like artist dates and stuff where I actually am getting to learn more about me. I was the chameleon, you know, and had different friend groups and different whatever, and, you know, twisted myself into different size pretzels in order to just fit in, you know, versus this actual knowing. I remember during COVID, I read this book called The Art of Showing Up. And in it, it's very similar to what you say, where it says stay sober is the first thing it says, and then help someone else achieve sobriety, right? So it's like, I need to stay sober first. I need to know myself before I'm like just toxic positivity, toxic whatever, where it's like, I love myself. Oh, see, I love myself. Self-care, getting my nails done, getting a manicure, self-care. I love myself. And it's like, yeah, but there's like, what does the self-talk look like underneath that, you know?
Right.
When it's not all shellacked and all whatever, you know,
resin.
And, yeah. When it's all not like that, are you really okay? You know, what's that story? What's that narrative? What's that self-talk look like?
Sponsor.
Call you sponsor.
Sponsor.
Call you
Call
sponsor.
your
Call you
sponsor.
sponsor. Call you.
Bitch, call your sponsor.
Call your sponsor. Call your.
Send us an email with comments, questions, or concerns, bcysponsor@gmail.com.
Don't forget to rate 5 stars.